So welcome guys to another episode of Let's Review with Mike the Interview. I am sitting here with the amazing Lavard. I'm actually fanning out because I've been following him for a long time. So let's just jump right into it because I know you guys are excited. I'm excited. So just explain to people who you are for those who don't know.
I'm Gary Lavard. I am an actor, producer, artist, and so many other different things.
Okay, that is true.
Yeah, and I'm here and ready to have some fun. So yeah,
take a deep breath. Okay. So let's jump right into it. So like most of us, we know you from acting. So how did you get into acting?
Yeah, so my first project was I was an extra on The Walking Dead, and I think it was season 3. And when I did that show, and we worked 14 hours a day, I remember coming home and still feeling excited and ready to go back. And I'm like, if I'm ready to work again after a 14-hour day, then I must love it. And that's when I caught the acting bug. And from there, it just kind of soared. I kept going and going and going. That's how I got it.
Speaking of The Walking Dead, no offense, but y'all had the worst production time because it was in Atlanta by my building on Centennial Olympic Park.
Yeah.
And they would shut down that bridge.
Yeah.
We could not get home for hours and hours and hours, and we would see army suits and stuff what the fuck is going on? But now we wouldn't know that it was The Walking Dead. But
I actually we filmed it out in Sonoya, Georgia, which is south of the airport. So my scenes were far out Georgia. We didn't even have a signal. That's how far out we were.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, but I know in the later seasons they did do more of that downtown Centennial Park area.
Yeah, I used to hate it.
Yeah.
So what inspires you to want to get into it, to acting?
I just love to do it. So I think my love for it inspires me.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. You know, it's when I'm in my element the most. You know, so it inspires. The art of it inspires me. You know. And then, after getting into acting and then being able to inspire people and do so many different things because of acting, I kind of got my little push from that too, just getting messages from people like, hey, I saw your film and, it made me change the way I think about this, or it helped me get through this. So I found a liking for that, and that's what inspires me the most.
Yeah. So what advice would you have for people like me who are trying to get into acting but just don't know how to get there?
Keep working, have a lot of patience, don't take anything personal, because that was one of my biggest challenges getting into acting, was constantly auditioning and being judged and not getting the part and thinking it was me, when a lot of times when you're auditioning, the director or the writer or the producer, they're looking for a specific person or look, so it's not about you, know what I mean, it's about who they envision in that role. So I say, just be patient and keep working, because it's not something that happens overnight. I think a lot of people think that they start acting and then wham, that's it. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm just starting now to get my break after 7-8 years.
Which we're about to jump into, because that's your most known role, I would say, is about Kim Vincent. So how did that come about? Because that was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, so I had a relationship with Henderson, who was the creator of the show, and he approached me. He was actually filming a movie at the time called Products of American Ghetto, and he cast me for that. And after that, we kept our relationship. And so he hit me up, and he was just like, I have this show I want to do. It's a coming of age show, and I think you'll be great for it. He sent me the script. I said, hell no, because I read it and I was just like, nah, I didn't want to be classified as a gay actor or, so many different emotions I was feeling at that particular time in my life. I didn't want to do it. And then I just thought about it, and I thought about the impact I could have on people. And that outweighed my fears of being put in that category, or the sex scenes, or any of the things that came with about him. So that's how the opportunity happened, and I hit him back and said, let's do it, and we did it.
It took off.
It took off.
So it seems like to me, from that character to Kevin on your most recent project, You played a person struggling with their sexuality.
Yeah.
Is that something that you always wanted to tackle, or you just fall into that?
I think I just fall into it. But you know what? Honestly, it was just that particular show is the first show that I produced under my own company, and it was a story that I thought needed to be told. You know, like I felt the story was very real. You know, there are so many men out here living like a double life, really. You know what I mean?
And so, kids and you got a boyfriend outside the house.
Yeah, and so I want to tell stories that are not often told, that should be told, you know, and that was one of those stories. So
it was a great show. I loved it. I love seeing you dressed up in your suits, looking clean cut, like that's like everything. So let's just jump right into some of your accolades, because like this list is long. I'm just gonna skim through. You had My Life, the TV series, Kevin Mitchell. Mm-hmm. You had let's see, Foul Play, TV miniseries. You played Calvin, The Products of American Ghetto, Don. Honest Man, you played Andre.
Yep.
Let's see, Murder TV series, Lavard.
Yeah.
About him, of course, Vincent. About him too, you played Destin.
Yep.
You see. Let's see, Greenleaf, you were the neighbor.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Greenleaf.
So Greenleaf, that's actually was my acting family for a while. When I was in Atlanta, I would work behind the scenes on production, and I was just always around. So I built some really good relationships with the producer. You know, I became really cool with like different actors on the show, like Lynn Whitfield and Deborah Winans and all these different people who are on the show. I ended up becoming cool with them, and you know, I would go and do the table reads. I would do anything I can do with production just to stay in that environment. And then it was just so happened one day they were like, "Oh, we need a guy who can play this neighbor scene with Lamont," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
You were there now. Yeah.
So I had to go through the auditioning process. So you know, I auditioned and everything, and I got it. And that's really how that happened. Just kind of like being in that environment and building those relationships. Really.
So that's amazing. Like I wish.
Yeah.
So you also played Redskin TV series, Jermaine. Murder Chose Me TV series, Lamondre. Assistant Motives, G-Shock.
Yeah.
Like, explain G-Shock. That just sound like a gangster name to me.
Man, I played some roles. That was my first role in Los Angeles. After I moved to Los Angeles, it was 2013. My acting coach was Paula J. Parker at the time. And so the studio we trained out of, there was also a director who had an office in that building, and they had a good relationship. So when it came time to get cast for that, he went to Paula and was like, you know, can anybody from your class, do you think anyone was good enough in your class to come in the movie? And she was like, I got Gary, you know, so I got, you know, that opportunity just from, you know, Paula J and being in that studio and training with her. So.
And also, this is a learning lesson to always like respect people, be personable, just be nice, be kind. Like you don't always have to be the rah-rah, the feisty type, or I'm gonna take over the show, because look, it pays off. So I'm gonna take my own advice on that. I was talking to me too on that part. So. So you also said that you're in a new show called Blue Bloods. Can you explain?
Yeah, so Blue Bloods is on CBS. It's with Tom Selleck, and I just booked that, just shot it in New York last weekend.
On CBS, you said?
On CBS, yeah.
CBS.
I'm super, this fall, y'all, the season premiere, I'll be on it, so make sure y'all check it out. I'm super excited about it. It's still a little unreal. You know, I have a new talent manager. He's getting me a lot of auditions and stuff lately, and this was one of the auditions, and to be honest with you, I thought I blew it. You know, I didn't think I did a great job.
Why's that?
In the audition. It was just, I was rushed. I was working during the time because it was a virtual audition.
Okay.
I was working up until the time I had to audition, so I didn't really have time to mentally get into the character. But I went in and I did it anyway, and you know, that following day they called and said, you know, you have a call back with the executive producer and the writers, and I was like, oh wow. So we went through that process. That audition I killed. Like the second audition, I killed it.
Because you were ready.
I was ready mentally. So I went in and I killed it. 2 or 3 days later, they made an offer. It was a Thursday morning. I was in New York on Thursday night filming. So that was amazing. It was unreal. I was in New York for 6 days. and that's gonna be dope.
So it's safe to say that's why you transitioned from Atlanta to LA for bigger opportunities. It seems like in Atlanta it's more like black. Everything is black. But out here it's like more of a choice and different pickings.
Yeah, I just like LA. I love LA. You know, like I feel good here. I thrive here. My career took off here. And Atlanta was great. You know what I mean? Like for what it was early on in my career, but it was time for me to go to new levels. And LA was just that place. You know, I liked it personally, professionally. So many different things I liked about LA. So I just made that move. You know, my mom's in LA. I mean, my mom's in Atlanta, so I'm always going back and forth. But yeah, here is home. You know, it feels like home.
Yeah, because I lived in Atlanta for a year, and I didn't care for it. Like, it just wasn't for me. But it was like I just had to get out. But I went just to experience it for a whole year, finish out my lease, of course. And then I came here, and it was like the energy, the vibe, everything was so different. And then I had a goal of what I wanted to do when I got here within my first year. And as of July something, when I signed a contract, I completed that goal within a year.
Dope. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's get into this music.
Yeah.
So how do you say your artist name? Because I was struck. Is it Cashada? How do you say it?
Cashada.
Yeah.
And that comes from my grandfather's nickname was Cash, and my grandmother's name was Ada.
Oh, okay.
So I put them together and made Cashada. It was my first tattoo and everything. And so what you want to know?
So you heard the new song, Real Love, right?
Yeah.
So let's jump into Real Love. We're gonna talk about Real Love in a second. But do you have Real Love in your life?
I don't. Not yet. You know what I mean? I'm optimistic. At this point in my life, I'm ready for that. I wasn't ready for that in prior years, you know, and I think now I'm in a great space for it, you know, so, you know, we'll see.
And you're around the right people that you need to be, so
yeah.
But Real Love is hot. Like, I can't wait for the video. I think I showed you just shot the video.
Yeah,
it looks like it's gonna be sexy and exotic. So you want to explain it?
It's gonna be a beautiful video. I rented a house at the top of Topanga Canyon, so it was I was above like all these mountains, and it was just really, really beautiful, serene. Because the song gets so vulnerable, I wanted it to just be myself. And let the lyrics tell the story as opposed to having like models and all these different things to like, you know, distract.
Right, exactly.
So the video is going to be beautiful. Like we had drone shots and everything.
You can tell just from the visuals.
Yeah, so it's going to be super dope. It'll be out within the next 2 weeks. And I'm super excited.
Are you editing it or somebody else is editing it?
I got someone else to do
it.
I didn't have a damn to do.
So do you have a music entertainment name, or is everything under Glow Media?
Everything's under Glow Media. Like everything that I produce in terms of like my films, music, I put it all under Glow Media.
So what inspired you to do music? Like that's from the acting to now music.
Yeah. So I actually did music before acting, and a lot of people don't know this, but you know, when I was a teenager, I was deep into music. I'm from Detroit, so like in the Midwest, I was big on like the local scene. You know, I opened for different artists, like you know. Lil Flip and Bone Crusher and Juvenile, and so I had
performance of the Rough Crowd.
Oh, I was performing. Yeah, I was performing. Yeah, I was. If you heard some of my music back then, I was like, what was I? You know, but now I'm a lot more. You know. But so I was doing music at a very early age. You know, like my dad had me in clubs singing when I was 12, 13 years old. You know what I mean? So that's where I started. I went to school of performing arts in Detroit, and so you know I went for vocals. So my whole background was in music, and then later on in life I got into modeling and then acting, and then now I just came back to it. Yeah.
So you've done the scripted series, you're doing nationwide television, which that's huge, especially for us. Like, that's huge, and then you're young at that, killing it. So would you ever do like a reality TV show, a docu-series, like with another ensemble cast? Like, let's get into that.
Off the bat, I would say no. However, if the conditions are right, I would do it. You know what I mean? Because I want it to be a positive representation of who I am, and because that's who I am. You know, I don't want to do reality and it kind of like ruin my character.
Yeah, because you have a lot to lose here.
Yeah, you know, and some people I think they look for that drama and that mess, and I'm so not about that. So I usually stay away from like offers from reality TV. But like I said, if the right opportunity comes around and I can tell my story in a great way, a positive way, and of course you're going to see some difficulties or challenges or drama with anything, but if the whole package is presented in a positive way, then I'll be with it. Yeah.
Would you like, well, of course anybody would like creative control or EP credit or something, just so that you're represented how you want to be?
That's not a big deal to me. I kind of just want to show up and work. Because when you're EPing or producing and directing and starring on things, it's like you're wearing a lot of hats. It can be, and I think in instances like that, I would want to just focus on being the talent,
the craft,
and being,
So another 2 shows that I like that you haven't done, and you're only on like 5 episodes each. Nothing But the G Thing and Cartels.
Yeah.
Like Nothing But the G Thing, like I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this facial stuff. I still haven't done it. Don't kill me. Okay, and Cartels, one that I like when you was like, I'm not a web star.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was very important. So why did you create them, and then why did you stop? Like we need like that authentic shows like that. Like people in their car just talking, in the bathroom talking, in the kitchen just talking.
Yeah. So I'm actually bringing Cartels back. Okay. I'm actually going to bring that back. I think it was just a thing of me deciding on what I wanted to do next. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do like, I wanted to evolve. I wanted the show to evolve, and I thought about, should I include people? Should I not include people?
Yeah.
And it was also between me relocating from Atlanta to LA, so I had a lot of other things going in my life, so I didn't, I couldn't focus on Cartels. But so many people, hit me up and like, you should do it because these stories you're so vulnerable, and so I'm like, I'll try it again, and so now I'm putting together like a blueprint of like what I want to talk about. I think I may add people to the show where like they ride with me and we talk about different things, just to kind of like make it a little bit more interesting and different from
so everybody
season
relates
1.
to something.
Yeah. And Nothing But a G Thing was just something I loved doing. Like it was, I shot and edited all of that stuff like myself, and it was something to keep my skill, that I can keep honing my skills on as like a videographer, as being like a vlogger, and because at one point I wanted to get into vlogging, so that was like my way into it. And who knows, I may do something else, but I haven't thought about doing Nothing But a G Thing again.
But Cartels for sure.
But Cartels for sure, yeah.
Cartels, especially with the fall by the time, and who knows what's going on with the world. If we get shut down, you can drive in your car and talk, and we'll have something to watch.
Right, absolutely.
Another thing that I like, and I started to copy, and it didn't go through, so I guess I wasn't supposed to copy, was this commercial you did. It was like The Day in the Life of Barry.
Oh yeah.
And like I thought that was like amazing how it was like well put together. I was like, I said that to somebody. I was like, I wonder if we do that, and we never did it. So I guess it wasn't for me to copy.
That was fun, man. I shot that in Atlanta, and I worked with this group called KB Creative Group, and I actually been knowing those guys for forever, and they do like amazing work in Atlanta with just like videos and stuff like that. And I wanted to again like show a positive, because this is my brand, So that was my way of being able to see people or to show people that I can be like an artist and auditioning and on set and wearing these different hats and looking good while doing that.
Speaking of looking good, it's like it's very rare that we have a person who looks good and their best friend who looks good. But your best friend Destin, amazing. Are you guys planning on doing something?
We talk about it all the time. We talk. I don't know.
Is he tall as well? He looks very tall. Is he tall?
We're close to the same height. He's a little shorter than me, but he's still tall.
Yeah.
But we talk about, most recently we've been talking about different ideas on things to do. But a lot of people ask us that, because it's kind of weird, like us being best friends and not doing anything together.
Yeah, most guys are popping in your own lane.
Yeah. So we may develop something. We've been talking about it. So yeah, TBD.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing a podcast of your own, like he's doing, or are you gonna leave that for his lane?
Yeah, I thought about a podcast once, but I was being lazy, and I felt. Yeah, sort of, kind of. And then, a lot of people are going into the podcast lane, and I just didn't want to be like, okay, now he has a podcast. And then if I do a podcast, I want to have something to talk about. I don't have shit to talk about. I didn't have nothing to talk about, so I didn't do, you know what I mean? So, like, I just didn't feel the need to do it at the time.
I had one that shit with my boyfriend. Like, we did one. It was called Truth Be Told. But we just couldn't. We did a couple episodes, but we just couldn't get it together. Like, I just felt like he's a little more put together. I'm a little more free. And it was like I had to censor what I wanted to say, censor what I wanted to talk about. And I just like. Because in DC, when I lived in DC, I'm from DC, but I moved here from Atlanta. I had 3 radio shows, and it was like we were going, just talking about anything, offending anybody, we didn't care. Right. But then when I did it with him, man, so I was like, so we haven't done it in a while. Yeah. We haven't done it in a while, but I want to get back into it, that to me. But if you were to say, how would you like to be remembered, what would you say?
As someone who lived their life, someone who overcame like fear of judgment, of all these different things, and just lived my life and did what I wanted to do, and also a person who uplifts and inspires other people, because that's something that I just pride myself on. So I want to be known for that. I want to be known for when people meet me, like, oh, he was a great guy. He was so cool. He was, and he inspired me in this way or this way in his films, and I want to be known in that way, just like in a very positive light.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I haven't seen anything different from you than what I've seen except for on that show. But, they had some clickbait, so they needed something.
Yeah, they needed some. I got pulled into that.
Well, I'm not going to hold you too much longer. I know you have a busy life, busy schedule. But I do want to know, like, when can I get on one of those projects? Like, you produce, you edit, I need.
Yeah, so me and so I have 2 best friends. So I have another best friend is in Alabama. Him and I are working on a show right now for Little Media. He's the writer. I'm going to produce it. And so we'll be casting soon. Shout out to Brandon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brandon,
so,
shout out.
Yeah, we will be casting for that. So definitely I'll keep you in mind.
Because I'm new here, so I'm still trying to. I've only been here almost a year. To be a year, like 6 days from now.
Oh, nice.
So I'm still trying to get into things and learn people. Yeah, I'm trying to, Yeah. So, I just signed on to a reality show that I'm trying to go up and up and up and up. So I'll be looking out for that.
I'll be looking out for the reality
show.
Yeah.
Baby.
Can you give any details? Or no?
Let's see, what can I say? That you're going to see a lot of working from me. And that's all I can say.
Alright.
That's my goal. Like, I knew when I signed on what my purpose was for going on. And it's just to work, show my craft, and to get opportunities, not to fight those glasses. I will if I'm tried. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But that's not my goal. My goal is to just broadcast myself, get exposure. Right. That's the most important.
Yeah. So, well, good luck. I'll be watching. And
these characters, baby. But I thank you for stopping by. I'm excited. I'm still fanning out, y'all. Like, I'm still fanning out. It's a big deal to have someone like him sit next to me, who y'all really even know. So it's a big deal.
Well,
First step.
I appreciate it, and I'm proud of you. Like when you messaged me about what you were doing, it reminded me a lot of me. So, that was one of the reasons why I was just like, yeah, of course, So, yeah, I wish you the best of luck and keep working and everything's good.
And check out that single, Real Love.
Real Love is on everything right now. Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Music, YouTube, all of it.
And where can they find you? Your social media?
Social media is Gary Lavard on everything. Instagram, Twitter, what else out there? Facebook. Just put in Gary Lavard. Lavard.
And before we leave, because I almost forgot, I don't know if you remember, it was years ago, it was like 2018, I was doing a radio show in DC, and you had a campaign going, and you had a face with you blowing up bubble gum, and I had bought the shirt, and I have promoted on the radio show, so that's how far back I've been supporting him.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, those shirts supported suicide prevention and awareness, and that's something that's like close to my heart too. So yeah, thank you.
So that's how far back. See, I ain't just jumping on the bandwagon, y'all. But I thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Let's Review with Mike. I'm Gary Lavard, and I'll see you guys later.
Peace.